Alright, what is good, guys? I am back, and I brought another knife with me. So this is the MidnightCat Petrel. This one is a titanium sandwich construction knife. It is, I think, the handles are probably like 5.6 inches. They're a little over 5.5. A little bigger than the typical, which is cool. Offers a little bit more handle real estate. Some people might not like that, though. To each their own. This guy is around 5 ounces. So definitely not, a really light Balisong, but not crazy heavy either. So this knife comes in 2 different SKUs. You can get the sandwich version like I have here, which costs $280. Or you can get the channel version, which is $350. Now, as far as I know, the difference between the two, the sandwich version, you gotta get bushings, which I am definitely fine with, and in fact, I'd prefer bushings. But I thought that on the, did I say channel? On the sandwich you can only get bushings. But on the channel, I think you had the choice between bushings and bearings. Now, I like this knife. I'm just gonna flat out and just say it. I think this knife is the bomb. It has a lot of things going for it, and just by handling this knife and all the things that came with it, this knife just to me screams quality. And I think that MidnightCat, the makers, put a lot of things into this knife that they didn't exactly need to put into this knife to ask the price point that they're asking for, if that makes sense. So, for example, like some of the extras they came with, when you buy a BRS knife or a HOM knife or something similarly pricey, when they give you the knife, it comes to you in a cardboard box, and it comes with a business card. That's all you get. Now, with the MidnightCat Petrel, good segue knife, you get a soft shell case that zips up. It's got little pockets. There's a business card in there too. They give you extra hardware, which is an absolute godsend. And they also give you a holster. And it's not like a Kydex piece of shit. It's real leather, and the knife fits in there like a glove. If you needed to, you could definitely wear this on a belt. I don't do that because I don't carry. Probably because I think it's illegal here in Missouri. Not sure, but I don't really want to run the risk of it. And I also don't usually need a knife in my lovely, suburban city dwelling. But anyways, they didn't need to add any of this. MidnightCat didn't need to go the extra mile for all this crap for me to buy this knife. But they did it anyways. I guess just kind of because they can. Another thing with this knife, which is really cool, these spacers on this guy. Let's see if I can focus. Come on, guy. It's so bright out I can hardly see the camera. Come on. Alright, well, I'm just going to assume that you fucking saw it. But anyways, the spacers have this nice kind of wavy grain, and they're a little bit of a dark purple, because the spacers on this knife are Moku titanium, or Timascus. I think they're the same thing. But either way, basically all that means is they put fancy-ass rainbow titanium in the spacers on this knife. And it's expensive as fuck. Now, could they have used stainless steel for this, or regular titanium, or brass, or any other commonplace metal? They probably could have, and it probably would have had similar balances. Probably would have flipped almost exactly the same. But MidnightCat is a madman. He's gonna put Moku titanium on his knives, man. He's just gonna do it. And you just can't stop him. Now think about this. When you get a Balisong, first thing you do, right? I mean, once you get it in the mail, you flip it around, you do a bunch of chaplains, and you're like, ooh, this is fun. And then after that, next thing you got to do is take it apart, because you got to get rid of the stupid ass latch. Now, you have to do that with like BRS and Ham knives, but not with the MidnightCat Petrel, because the MidnightCat Petrel doesn't even have a latch. Because MidnightCat knows that latches are really gay. And he just saved us disassembling this knife. And when it comes to disassembly of this knife, it's fucking easy. Pivot screws, 2 of them. Spacer screws, 2 of them. Bingo bango, that's it. I hate knives like the Maxace, what was it? The Banshee, the one I just had, honestly. I hate knives like that because they had so many screws. And I know sandwich construction knives are much more easier to take apart than liner knives. I get it that there's, more things that have to be secured, but it's really nice. It's just always still nice to have that. So let's just talk about the flipping, because I really think this thing flips well, even though I don't really flip well, compared to so many other people out there. I mean, I can do the basics, but this knife seems, it's a bit heavy on the handles, but it's not that heavy. Like, it's heavy enough on the handles. It's handle heavy enough to the point where I can just chaplain like this, as much as I want all day. Sticks to your fingers. Since it is a tang pin construction, it's not super bouncy. It kind of just, it hits the handle, it hits the pin, and it just stops. And that's kind of nice. It's a really cool switch up for me, because most of my knives now are all Zen pins. So having a tang pin knife is, it's a little fun. Kind of reminds me of my old Ham Spectre. And I think that's probably the closest thing I can compare it to in my flipping knowledge. Just picture a Spectre, if you've ever flipped one, and extend it out so it's not so chunky and it's longer. And that's basically this knife. I mean, the handles, it does not succumb to any of the other problems that, quote, bushing knives have had. Broas blades. The bushings on this knife run fantastically. There is no tap. Let's see. Barely any play, like nothing really noticeable. I mean, this knife, like I said, screams quality. It screams kind of almost luxury, I feel like. This is a fantastic knife. I can't recommend it highly enough. So I don't really have cons for this knife. Like, I was thinking, and the only con I can think of for this knife was that it's really sharp and it cuts me a lot. I mean, if that's even a con. I mean, some people, actually use their knives. So having a sharp blade, I guess, is good. Now, I did not buy this directly from the manufacturer. I bought this secondhand. But it was pretty much right after the drop, and I think the guy just got it just to test it out. Oh, I'm going to hurt myself one of these days. So overall, I mean, I'd take this thing over an Alpha Beast any day. I don't know, it would be a toss-up with the Ham Spectre, which is kind of a similar weight class than this. Like I said, it's a great flipper. It's really long. It's longer than I expected. It's a big ass knife. Like, I brought my rep out for comparison. So you can kind of see, it is longer than the rep. Personally, I think aesthetically, this knife looks dope. I like how the spine of this knife kind of is a little bit farther in, and then it juts out right up here. Really cool. Handle cutouts, no complaints there. Handle cutouts are usually boring, so there's usually never anything to talk about. The handles themselves have a light chamfer that's kind of rounded. So let me see if I can pick this up. It's so bright out I can barely tell if my camera is focusing or not, so sorry about that, guys. So I think this is a pretty good balance of handle roundness, because I can fan and it doesn't feel uncomfortable, not with like a super blocky knife, but it's also not round enough for me to lose control on, you know, laddery tricks like this, or chaplains. So that's really nice. I think this was a really well thought out design. I honestly have no qualms with this knife whatsoever. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it around, just because it's really sharp and hurting myself is no fun, and I also like to just, you know, try new knives. I'm looking to get a Setsuna. That's how you pronounce it. I'm looking to get a Setsuna soon. Might even be down to trade this for a Setsuna if it's the right blade shape. So I guess if you have one and you wanted to try this, contact me on my Instagram, because I might be down to trade. So overall, I mean, I feel like this knife is just a great flipper. It's great for the price too. I mean, $280. $280 for over, like, it's a full length but longer. It's longer than a full length Balisong. The bushings are immaculate. It's very flippable. I think this is awesome. Like I said, I suck, but the actual knife itself is pretty good. So like comparing that to an Alpha Beast, like an Alpha Beast is what, like 350, 360? I mean, this knife, in my opinion, just absolutely clobbers the Alpha Beast. Ham Spectre, it's pretty close with that, honestly, in my top books for, you know, titanium sandwich tank pin knives. I really want to try a Ham Basilisk, man. I feel like that would be very similar to this, but really cool. Alright, I just dropped it. I think that's where I end the video, guys, because I really have nothing bad to say about this thing. It's just so good, so I'll talk to you later.